The generation that was told to go outside and be home when the streetlights come on is now getting slack for being too involved in their kids' lives. And honestly, that paradox tells you everything you need to understand about Gen X parents. If you grew up in the 60s, 70s, or even early 80s, you probably remember coming home to a completely empty house. Your parents weren't there since they were working. Both of them, in fact, probably for the first time in American history at that scale. Between 1970 and 1990, percentage of mothers in the workforce with children under 6 jumped from around 37% to nearly 60%, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. You were a latchkey kid. You let yourself in, made something to eat, and figured it out. No big deal. Or at least, that's what everyone said. Researchers later described Gen X as one of the least parented, least nurtured generations in modern American history. And that's not exaggeration. You learned to solve your own problems because there really wasn't another option. Your mom wasn't emailing teachers about your grades. Your dad wasn't stepping into your friendship drama. If you had an issue, you handled it. Or you didn't. That daily autonomy shaped you. It built resilience. It built independence. But it also built a kind of emotional self-reliance that sometimes looked like strength on the outside and felt like isolation on the inside. Fast forward to today and listen to how Gen X talks about parenting. There's a noticeable pattern. Many openly admit that their latchkey childhood still echoes in how they raise their kids. They've made a conscious decision to do some things differently. To be more present, more available. More aware, not because independence was bad, but because absence left a mark. Some people call them stealth fighter parents. They're not hovering constantly. They're not micromanaging every moment. But when something truly matters, they go all in. Most of the time, they'll let their kids handle their own social drama. But if something crosses a line, they're suddenly in the principal's office with a calm but unmistakable intensity. Protective in a way that surprises people. Focused. Prepared. The funny thing is, many Gen X parents swore they wouldn't be overbearing. They valued the freedom they had. They didn't want to suffocate their kids. But then they became parents, and something shifted quietly. The memory of walking into an empty house, of wishing someone had asked how your day really was, of carrying problems alone, those memories don't disappear. They resurface when you're the adult now, holding the responsibility. Psychologist Diana Balmrind spent years studying parenting styles and identified patterns based on two main dimensions: responsiveness, how emotionally warm and available parents are, and demandingness, much they expect in terms of structure and boundaries. The authoritative style ranks high on both. It's not authoritarian, which is strict without warmth, and it's not permissive, which is warm but lacks limits. Authoritative parenting says, I'm here for you. I care about you, but there are rules. There are consequences. Decades of developmental psychology research consistently show that kids raised with authoritative parenting tend to regulate emotions better, have higher self-esteem, perform stronger academically, and build healthier friendships. They're not perfect, but they're equipped. There's no massive study proving Gen X universally adopted this style, but listen to how they describe their intentions. Be present, but not suffocating. Set boundaries, but stay emotionally open. Show up, but don't rob kids of the struggle that builds character. It maps surprisingly closely to that authoritative framework. Gen X understands struggle in a specific way. They graduated into recessions. They watched pensions disappear. They saw job security transform from expectation to illusion. Stability wasn't guaranteed. When you grow up knowing the system won't always protect you, you don't promise your kids a smooth road. You try to prepare them for a rough one. But they're parenting in a world radically different from their own childhoods. They're the first generation raising kids fully immersed in social media, where everything can be documented, compared, criticized. They remember privacy. They remember embarrassing moments fading with time instead of living forever online. Posting every milestone feels foreign to many of them. Exposure feels heavy. And maybe that's why so many Gen X parents seem quietly exhausted. They're managing aging parents, navigating career ceilings, handling financial pressure, and raising children in a hyper-connected world. They're the sandwich generation pressed between baby boomer, parents who think they're too soft, and Gen Z kids who sometimes think they're too strict. They translate between generations that speak completely different emotional languages. Their parents valued toughness, their kids value openness, and Gen X stands in the middle, trying to keep the independence that shaped them, while adding the emotional presence they once wished for. Interestingly, Gen X parents don't obsess much over external validation. That Latchkey experience taught them something powerful. Outside approval is unreliable. So they parent based on an internal compass. Memory-driven, experience-informed. They might let their teenager make the same mistake twice, believing repetition can be a teacher. But they'll also answer the phone at 2 a.m. without judgment. They remember what it felt like to have no one to call, and they refuse to recreate that silence. Their relationship with technology also shapes how they parent. They remember life before the internet, before smartphones dominated attention. They know boredom, they know presence. They've lived in both analog and digital worlds. So when they set screen boundaries, it's not fear-driven, it's experience-driven. They understand the benefits of technology, but they question the cost. You might see a Gen X parent at a school event looking slightly uncomfortable among hyper-competitive parents. They're not the loudest, not the most performative, but they're there, fully there watching, present. They're trying to raise kids who feel secure without becoming dependent. Kids who know someone has their back, but also know how to stand on their own. It's not flawless. It doesn't always align with trending parenting advice. But for a generation once labeled as under-nurtured, the act of showing up emotionally is significant. They're breaking cycles while preserving resilience, holding on to independence while building connection, and maybe that tension between strength and softness is exactly what defines them. Gen X never cared much about fitting into neat categories anyway, and maybe their parenting doesn't either. If this resonated with you, don't forget to subscribe. And if you enjoy these deeper dives into generational psychology, consider joining the channel to support more conversations like this.